Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Davis and it's a great day. I wanted to share some things with you about this entire conference that we're all participating in. It's called the Comeback Champion, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because our resiliency in our lives is greater than any challenge that we have. My life has been a testament to that. I am by trade a social worker. So, as you must know, social workers, we work with a large array of people. And I want to share with you a story of my favorite client. She's a woman that works every day, has children, has family, and has gone through so many different challenges. And as I share this story, tell me if there is a time or was a time where you could identify with some of the things that she has gone through. One particular session that we had, she shared with me a time when she had to be hospitalized. She wasn't feeling her best, went to the emergency room with her small child. At that time, the child was about 2 years old. And as she entered into the emergency room, all she had was a backpack with rations of snacks and toys for him to have for that day. Thinking that she was going to go into the hospital, they'd give her some fluids, maybe some medication, and send her on her merry way with a full line of prescriptions. Instead, what ended up happening is after all the vials of blood had been drawn and all of the different radiological tests were completed, the x-rays, the CAT scans, the ultrasounds, what ended up happening was she was told by the doctor, well, you have to make preparations for your child. You have to make sure that someone can come pick your child up from here. She asked the question, why is that? His response and his face let her know this was a bigger situation than just some fluids and some medication. What occurred was that she had a perforation in her bowel. Something that said, if we don't heal this right now, if we don't address this problem right now, by morning, according to the doctor, she would be dead. So she had to make a choice. She had death at the door, and she had life in her little child that was with her. And she was trying to figure out, what do I do next? How did I land in this position? Much like most of us, how did I land in this position? So she called in some friends and said, well, can you please hold on to my son? Can you please take hold of him until I'm able to make other arrangements? And to a great blessing, they all came through and were able to keep him in safekeeping for her. Over the next 3 weeks, she would lose a large amount of weight. She would be on really, really tough medications that would just work through her body in preparing her for a major surgery. And that surgery would end up being the moment that she faced death face to face. Most of all, she had to write her last will and testament, allotting her small amounts of what do I own. And at that moment, she was also faced with the question of, what do I own? What is mine, and what do I have to pass on to the children that I have been given stewardship over? That was a big conversation at that moment. For her son, the smallest of her children, it was who was going to be there to raise him. So while in the hospital, there were several conversations with God, several conversations with, why am I here? What is my purpose? And if I'm able to come through this, what is going to be the outcome of my life? So on the morning of the surgery, she was rolled into the OR, thinking back to the fateful day when she walked into the emergency room and felt such sadness and tears and such gratitude and praying and asking for another opportunity to do this again. Let me fast forward you. As she came out of the surgery, she was there. There was family, there were friends, family that she hadn't spoken to in such a long time, people that she hadn't even knew that of her condition or that she was in the hospital. And they all came to be by her side. Our son came, much to his sadness, he couldn't stay though. So there was more time in the hospital and more of that time alone, reflecting on what life had been. Coming forward in her life, she decided, you know what? I need to help others. I need to do more than I'm doing. I can't just rely on whatever little I have, because as she wrote her last will and testament, she realized there wasn't much that she felt that she had accomplished that she could share and spare with someone else. So I'll tell you, May 19th, 2019 was the time that she had her greatest opportunity to step forward into what she considered a new life. She enrolled herself into school, into a master's program, and she had started learning how she can serve at a higher capacity, how to give to others, how to support others, and how to help people learn more about the strengths of their lives. As she stood there on May 19th for her commencement, and I'll say her, including me, I stood there with her with tears in my eyes, thinking of what her life had been. And as she talked about what she's learned, what she's understood, what she's received from her education, as well as what she's been given, it was very clear that not only was she resilient and strong, it was very clear that she was determined to use her life to serve others. That person, I want you to get to know. That person's me, Michelle Davis. I stand before you today remembering the words of one of my favorite mentors, someone that I often wished to meet, but often saw her from afar, Miss Maya Angelou. And there was one moment when I watched her master's class, and she brought up that one part from an African-American song, a 19th century song, where she talked about when it looked like the sun wasn't going to shine no more, God put a rainbow in my clouds. And the thing is, we have rainbows all around us. There were rainbows in the hospital. There were rainbows in the emergency room. There are rainbows in the operating room. There were rainbows during recovery. There were rainbows of people and services and abilities that at one point I didn't even think I had. There are rainbows that helped me to come to my feet after domestic violence, after being abused, after being violated. There are rainbows that said, this too shall pass. There are rainbows that let me know that my prayers that I had put forth had already been answered. That's very much like you, I'm sure. I'm sure there have been moments that you've been wondering, where is God in this? Where is my strength in this? And often felt like, am I going to make it through? The reality is, you will. Even if in this moment it feels like you won't, you will. Not only will you make it through, but you'll be stronger than you were before. Because everything that happens to us happens for our highest good. We just have to see it that way. We have to understand that we have strength within us that has already been put there way before this event happened. And we just have to become aware of what that strength is. And I want to share with you some of those that you may not even realize. One of the biggest strengths is, what do you think of yourself? How do you see yourself? How much time do you take to reflect and to say, this is who I am? Not what someone else tells you, but really, what do you understand about you? And then from there, looking at yourself and saying, what have I accomplished? I have accomplished good things. Even if it's, I woke up and I made my bed. That's the first place that we become a champion, first thing in the morning, making our beds. And yes, the neater you make your bed, the better it is for you to lie in it. So that's a great opportunity to start your day that way. And then the next thing is, well, what is it that I really want to do? That comes from reflection. Look at what you do easily and effortlessly. Now, I know some people will say, well, there are people that do not so good things easily and effortlessly. In that, there's also ingenuity, there's creativity, there's figuring out how to make things happen out of nothing. Those are all true skills that can be turned and changed into great businesses, great opportunities, great mentorship. There's some people that they have the greatest ability to put things together, build things. You have to take those and recognize that in that head, to see the bigger picture and to create something means that you have the ability to see beyond whatever the situation appears to be. Then there's also the strength of communication. How well do we take the time to communicate with ourselves? How well are we able to connect with others? And how often do we take the time to surrender to the moment that we have with someone else? There's so many of us that are easy and simple to just sit down with someone and have a cup of tea, talk with them, hear what they may have to share with you. That moment that you share with someone, it can be a lifetime of change for them. And that's a strength and an ability that not everyone pays attention to. But to be able to communicate effectively, to understand someone clearly, to connect with them from a sincerity of heart makes such a difference. And then we think about, what are my action steps? My action steps should be, from here, where do I go? If I need to get further educated, let me find out what skill I want to improve on. And sometimes those skills can be easily improved on by connecting with a mentor, connecting with a mentoring group. And sometimes, as they say, YouTube University is very, very helpful. Saves you a lot too. So I wanted to continue from there and just share with you, being a resilient person, being a champ, doesn't have to do with how much you have or how much you don't have. It has to do with the willingness to change and to embrace change. As I had the opportunity to face death and the fear of death that I had, I also had the opportunity to embrace life and to let my faith in good things in life come forward. That's what it means to be a comeback champion. You look for the faith. You practice faith. You practice being able to see and to say to yourself, there's more to me than whatever is happening right now. And there is more to have in life and to do than what is occurring right now. So what do? We step forward, we start planning, and we take action. So for the next couple of months, as we all understand, being a champ takes practice. Every day, take a moment to practice your vision. Write your vision out that you want to accomplish. Look at it over and over and take the action steps that will cause you to practice the accomplishment of it. If it's a matter of, I want to open a business, find out, how do I get business education? And there are so many free opportunities in many different states to help. If it's a matter of, I want to go back to school, there's so many opportunities to do that. And if it's simply a matter of, I want to start a family, then we have to start becoming the people that we want to have in our lives. This all comes together, and this all comes to the fact of being, as they say, a comeback champion. You can't come back if you've never had a reason to step back. So step back, evaluate, and then from there, put your plan into place and keep moving. My name once again is Michelle Davis. And for those of you that are ready to work on that, please reach out to me. My email is listed below. My telephone number is also going to be involved. And you can just let me know. You can email me either at my personal email, michellesndavis@gmail.com, and we can definitely connect and we can work together so that what you have taken a step back to look at can now turn in to you being the comeback champion of your own life. And I want to say God bless you and know that you are loved beyond any measure that you can imagine. Thank you.